you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once more to Wapful TV. This is a platform where we facilitate the understanding of elementary mathematics and we encourage the study of mathematics, science, and technology. Last time we talked about multiplication of fractions. We promised that this time around we'll be looking at division of fractions. Today's lesson, we have our objectives, which are 1, to divide fractions by fractions or by whole numbers, or to be able to divide whole numbers by fractions. And secondly, we should be able to interpret and solve word problems in division of fractions. These are the two main objectives of our lesson today. And without any waste of time, we'll go straight away into solving some examples so that we can understand how easy it is to divide fractions. One thing to take note of is that division of fractions is like an extension of multiplication of fractions. What do I mean? Let's follow up and you'll understand better. In our first example, 9/16 divided by 3/4, what we have to do is there are basically two things to follow. And these two things are key in division of fractions. The first thing is change the division sign to multiplication sign. And once you do this, you invert the second fraction, which means the next fraction to the division sign must be inverted after you must have changed the division sign. So this is what I mean. This will be equal to 9/16. You change the sign from division to multiplication and invert the second fraction. That will become 4/3. And when you have this, you can now simplify just as we do in multiplication of fractions. And here 3 will divide itself one time, and 3 will divide 9 3 times. 4 can divide itself one time, and 4 will divide 16 4 times. Then we multiply across. 3 times 1 is 3, and 4 times 1 is 4. As simple as this. Let's look at the second example. 2¼ divided by 9. Here, this is a mixed fraction divided by a whole number. So what do? The first thing is to change the mixed fraction to an improper fraction. 4 times 2 is 8, and 8 plus 1 is 9. So we have 9/4 divided by 9. You can change this to a fraction, which means you express it all over 1. And this sign is still division, so we can change the sign as well. 9/4, you change the sign and invert the second fraction, it becomes 1/9. And 9 here, 1, 9 will divide itself one time. And our answer will be 1 times 1, 1/4 times 1 is 4. So our answer will be 1/4. This is a word problem, and if it falls under division of fractions, we should understand that we have to divide. But first, you should read carefully to be able to interpret and know what exactly to do. A string measuring 5/8 meters is cut into 10 equal parts. What is the length of each piece? This is what is said. There is a string measuring this fraction, and it is cut into 10 equal parts, which means this string is divided into 10 parts. What will be the length of each piece? So here we are simply dividing, but it is not dividing 10 by 5/8. It is dividing 5/8 by 10, because 5/8 is the length of the rope, and 10 here represents the number of times that rope is divided into. This will be equal to 5/8 divided by 10, which is the same as 5/8 times 10. Here will be 10/1, which is the same as 1/10. We invert and simplify. 5 here one time, 5 into 10 2 times. And the answer here will be 1 times 1, 1, and 8 times 2 is 16 meters. So the length of each piece will be 116 meters. Let's move on with more examples. This is our fourth example, and of course, we have to be very careful as far as this is concerned. It looks similar to the third example, but there is something very particular about this question. So let's follow up. First of all, read, then interpret, and we can show the working on what to do as far as this is concerned. Peter used 4/7 of his money and spent the rest on 6 pence. Each pen cost the same. What fraction of the money was spent on each pen? Here, this fraction represents what he used, and the rest was spent on 6 pence. So this is where the trick is. First, let's assume let total money be equal to 1. That's a whole, and there is fraction used. So we should identify first of all the fraction used, which is equal to 47. If you had a whole and used this fraction, then we can calculate or find the rest remaining fraction to be 1, or this one is the same as 7 over 7 minus 4 all over 7. And of course, when denominators are the same, we just subtract the numerators, which will give us 3 over 7. So this is what was left, or the rest that they're talking about here. Now, at this point in time, what is the next thing? They said this rest, because he spent the rest on 6 pence. So this is what we are concerned with, and not for 7. Let's identify number of pence is equal to 6. Therefore, each pen cost, we take the fraction left and divide by the 6 pence. That is 37 divided by 6, which is the same as 37 times 6 is 6 over 1, and if we invert, it becomes 1/6. 3 here 1 time, and 3 into 6 2 times, and our answer will be 1 times 1 1, and 7 times 2 is 14. This is the fraction 1/14 is the fraction that was spent on each of the pence, because we have simply calculated what was left, because they said he spent the rest on 6 pence. So that rest is 37, and 37 divided equally, because each pen cost the same. So we divide 37 by the 6 pence, which is going to give us 1/14. That is how you can interpret and solve this as far as division of fractions is concerned. Now, with our understanding of division of fractions and of course multiplication of fractions, we can solve a problem that has both rules, that is multiplication and division of fractions combined. Let's look at the 5th example. 3/4 of 2/3 divided by 8 over 9. In this case, of stands for multiplication. Remember, we have to change this sign and invert the fraction that follows. Then at that level we can simplify. This will be equal to 3/4 remains the same, of is the same as multiplication. This fraction remains the same, 2/3. We change this sign to multiplication, invert the fraction that follows. Instead of 8 over 9, it becomes 9 over 8. 9 over 8. And at this point in time, we simplify. So 2 will simplify. 2 can divide itself 1 time. 2 will divide 4 2 times. 3 will divide itself 1 time, and here 1 time. There is nothing below and above that can divide, so we multiply across. 1 times 1 times 9 is 9, and 2 times 8 is 16. Our answer at this level is 9 over 16. This is what you can do as far as division of fractions is concerned. And if you picked up something from here, then we can call it a day, and thank you for your time. Endeavor to subscribe to our channel, like our videos, share them, and comment so that we can improve on the service. See you in our next lesson, and of course we are going to be doing the famous BODMAS mixed problems in fraction, involving all the rules: addition, multiplication, division, and subtraction, all in one. So we're going to be doing that, and make sure you don't miss this lesson. Ciao.